Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to continue with my MCAT series, I guess. Last two videos I kind of talked about what I wish I knew. I studied without textbook, a little bit about the biochem section, so if you haven't checked that out, please do so. Today I'm going to talk about the psych and soc. So bio and psych and soc were my most successful sections when I took the real MCAT. How I scored more than a 128. So I actually got a 129 on the real thing, but in my practice exams, they were like 130, 131. So you never know with the real exam, but I'm still really proud of my psych and soc. And so I'm here today to hopefully give you guys some tips that you can take with you when you guys are studying for this exam. I'm just gonna go jump in. First tip that I stressed in my last 3 videos is this software called Anki. The reason why I think this is more particular to the psych and soc is because a lot of the psych and soc content you can self-learn easily, because some of the words does have some resemblance to the actual meaning and the actual definition of the term. So it's much more simpler to study the psych and soc section compared to, for example, bio and different, and biochemistry and different concepts like that. I definitely think that, and I agree with the majority, that the psych and soc is one of the easiest, I think the easiest section of the MCAT. Those who are studying and maybe struggling at this now will eventually get how this works, and hopefully some of my tips can help you. So again, tip number 1 has to be Anki. Definitely just know all the terms. Some of it is just memorization, not like memorization where you like know word for word, but you actually understand the concept and the actual definition of the term, you to be able to apply it. Don't just memorize the actual definition and not even realizing what it means. Be able to understand it well enough to print it out. In addition to that tip with Anki, when you guys make your flashcards, or if you use pre-made flashcards, I would give an example of it, some sort of scenarios or some sort of just like little details that you can add to the card that can make it more memorable, more applicable to different things. What I mean by that is because when you give an example, you're able to connect it to other ideas, other scenarios that will help you better remember the term. In addition to the Anki software and the regimen that will benefit you guys in the long run. So tip number 2 that I think is very helpful, when I noticed when I was studying and going through the passages, I found that 30% is going to be useless and around 70% is basically what you need to be successful for that particular passage. Usually the intros of the passages are kind of like things you should already know. They're just reintroducing the topic. I'm over it because you should already know automatically what they're talking about. Another thing that I noticed within this is figures are a big part to psych and soc, and they have really weird figures that might not translate well to what you've seen in science passages. That's okay. The most significant one I can think of is a p-value. So this is the significant value. It's like less than 0.05. It's highly significant, and honestly that's really well tested on the MCAT. It basically shows the difference between the two subjects or whatever they're testing in that particular passage. Talked about it in my biochem section, but I kind of use the same technique. Looking at the purpose of the study, looking at the axes, also looking at the wild type, which is kind of like, I guess you can say, I don't know if it's too applicable to psych and soc, but kind of like the main ground or foundation if applicable. And obviously the trend is whether it's significant, like what I just talked about in the p-value, or if it's not significant at all, and make sure you understand, you can't tell the difference between those subjects. Very important with the figure. Tip number 3 is be able to read the question properly. And I know this kind of sounds really dumb. I talked about it in my previous videos as well, that we get caught up on what seems to be a correct answer or what you've read that is accurate, and it does say it in the passage, but you're not answering the question. So be able to read the question thoroughly. If it's a figure question, what part of the figure are they referring to? Are they comparing, contrasting? Are they looking at the overall trend? And you can also take into account what term or concept are they testing in this question. So a lot of times with psych and soc specifically, question STEM gives a lot away in terms of the direction of where this is going concept-wise. See, if you studied your Anki well and your terms really well, you're able to quickly figure out what they're talking about and what term they're actually referring to. And I think that's really key, to first look at the question and really understand what it wants. Honestly, it gives a lot away, not gonna lie to you, and it's hard to explain that. When I say that, it seems kind of like a scam, but like if you think about it, and as you grow more experience with the MCAT style question, you start to see the trend in how they ask the questions and what information is presented in the STEM that can really give a lot away. In addition to that, you don't want to overthink, right? You want to just really figure out and understand the question STEM, because if you overthink, I feel like that can really shift the bias in your answers, and that's just a big no-no, right? You can't do that. There's gonna be terms, especially my real MCAT, and I think that's kind of why I scored lower than I predicted, was because there were terms that I've never seen before, and it kind of freaked me out. Not gonna lie to you. Don't let that fear get to you. Stick to what you know based on the answer choices. If you know the terms and they don't apply to the question and what they're really asking, then don't pick it, because it's most likely not the correct answer. So there's gonna be some questions and answer choices where they make up the answers, like make up terms that is not even real. And it's kind of funny that I think you can get a vibe of what is a real term. Again, this comes with practice, and you'll see that, guys. And tip number 4 is process of elimination. This is the key to what led me to be successful on Psych and Social. If it's not related to the study, eliminate. If it's stating something false or it's misread from the figure, eliminate. If it's opposite of the results of the study, eliminate. If one part is off, if it's like 50% correct and then the next second half of the answer choices is not even stated, or it's true, it's false, it's opposite, eliminate. It will make things up. You have to be able to ready to recognize, I haven't seen that term, that's kind of sus, right? And last but not least, and I think this is said in every MCAT video, and the reason why I'm saying it here is because it's really important, and that is to build your stamina. This is the last section of the MCATs, you probably already know. You are there for about 6 to 7 hours already. You're about to finish your MCAT journey with this last section. So don't mess it up, you know what I mean? Like, do not mess it up. Don't go in there tired. Have to prepare. I'm not saying you're not gonna be tired when it comes to test day. Honestly, I don't think you'll be tired because of the adrenaline, let's be honest. Also, throughout your practice sessions, when you're doing the practice exams and following, you know, the AMC guidelines in how the exam is taken, like timing wise, break wise, right? You wanna make sure that you walk in that test day not thinking or not even worrying about your stamina, or oh, I'm gonna feel tired in this section for sure, or blah blah blah. You have to build your stamina, you have to work for it, and that just comes with a lot of practice exams. I would recommend maybe 7 to 10 within that range, even more if you can. If you have time, great. Honestly, do a lot, because the more the better, right? So that's it for me, guys. That's how I kind of got a 129. If you know the content really well, that will set you up, but you need to be aware of the tactics that the AMC might pull. So be aware of how to read the presented information, and that comes with the figures, knowing what's relevant and not really relevant, basically knowing how to identify like p-values and, you know, statistical aspects of the figures and the passage. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something from this video. Just one, I'm really grateful if you take that advice and apply it to your own studies. That's all I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you on my next one.